Hello, this is Palico Patch and welcome back to another episode of the Innsmouth Case. It's an interactive fiction game, much like your choose your own adventure books, which we used to have as children. Maybe still do, I don't know. It's been a while since I've been a child, but hey ho. It's cold outside, it's absolutely peeing it down right now, and cuddling up with a cozy book and or interactive fiction game just feels fitting for October. So here's what we're doing. And in the last episode, we actually got to Innsmouth. It took a while. We established that we are a private investigator. We have mountains of debt from in-app purchases, and we had some sultry lady come in asking us to search for her weird looking child. And that's all we know. We got on the bus. It was pretty mundane. Not a lot of people wanted to talk to us. The guy looked a little bit like a zombie, but I didn't want to probe too much. It's rude, isn't it? It's rude. And we are now in Innsmouth, so let's crack on, shall we? Finally, Innsmouth. You examine your surroundings while you stretch your legs, trying to unwind from the stressful journey. No artist could have adequately captured the serenity and beauty of this place. The clear blue sky lights up the town square, which is paved with bright limestone and surrounded by neo-colonial buildings reminiscent of 19th century New England. A fresh sea breeze, crying seagulls, and locals going about their business. Oh, it sounds so picturesque. Show me a postcard. In the centre of the square, I think it's going to be one of those episodes, folks. In the centre of the square, water trickles from a fountain. As you stretch your limbs and breathe in the clean air, you're suddenly startled by the water feature right in front of you. The fountain is an enormous fish-like brass creature. An open jaw, lined with shark-like fangs, spouts brackish water down its massive, inhumanly contorted body. As if that wasn't enough, there appear to be human bodies squirming underneath its massive claws. Their faces are as contorted as yours is right now. How long have you been standing here? Eyes wide open in shock, you feel utterly paralysed. You start to scan the town square and notice more and more disturbing details. On every corner you spot ornamental statues and reliefs of fish, but these are not your classic harmless kind of fish. These are pagan symbols and grimaces of supernatural creatures from the darkest crevices of the deep sea. In surrounding houses you can see faces pressed against the windows. All the locals appear to be watching you. You suddenly start to think that the cries of the seagulls sound particularly human-like. They sound like humans crying out in pain. What happened to the idyllic scene from a few moments ago? Welcome to Innsmouth. Right, so someone's obviously addressing us. I mean, we could ignore. I think it's only polite for us to turn around. I mean, we are but a guest in this picturesque hellscape of a town. Welcome to Innsmouth. How nice of you to visit. A small elderly woman waves at you from afar. She beams at you as if you were her long-lost grandchild. She seems very different to the bores you've met so far on the bus into town. Her squealing shakes you out of your nightmarish panic. It's so good to have you here. I've noticed you're very taken by our local fountain. It was built in 1704 by Abdul Necrotis, that's the word, favourite artist and friend of Charles Dexter Tillinghast, the founder of Innsmouth. The central figure was a present, and it was supposed to commemorate their travels together in Cairo. You can clearly see the Egyptian influences in Necrotic's work here and there. She points wildly in every direction. And here! But I'm sure you've already noticed this yourself. You look like someone who knows his way around art, she says with a wide smile. You're still in shock. She beams at you. Who the hell are you? That seems a bit aggressive, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. I mean, do I paint myself as an art historian? She may call our bluff and we might be, taken aback by her knowledge, as well as her very wobbly, droopy boobs. Oh, we'll do it anyway. I'm an art historian, of course. She enthusiastically starts clapping and squealing. A small plump person in a garish costume who finishes off all her sentences with a delighted chuckle. Oh, I noticed that at once. How rude of me. I haven't even introduced myself. My name is Muriel Pooping Place. I'm the director of the Parks Commission, Chief Tourism Officer, and head of the Welcoming Committee. Ta-da! Behind Muriel, there's a ramshackle wooden information stand, lovingly decorated with balloons. A colourful painted sign reads, "Welcome to Innsmouth." Muriel tiptoes over to her information stand and picks up a whole load of flyers and leaflets from rickety display cases. She looks down at all the paper in her arms and briefly shrieks with laughter. My goodness, why don't you take this city map to begin with? Useful! You take the map and put it into your coat pocket. Would you like to find out more about our wonderful town, which has been awarded the East Coast Stunning Town Award for several years in a row? And would you? Yeah, why not? She's draining me, but I'm enamoured. As a private investigator, it is your job to learn as much as you can about everything. So why the hell not? Muriel claps her hands excitedly and squeals. She begins unfolding one of her maps and points at 3 different locations in the town. The town centre here should be the next stop on your trip. There's a lively up-and-coming shopping street in Innsmouth, and since May, our local fountain has even had running water. Muriel starts waving her index finger at you. I know what you're thinking. This town is being too showy for its own good, but I can assure you we've all kept our feet on the ground, even after the whole thing with the East Coast Stunning Town Awards. Her finger now points to a different area on the map. The old town of Innsmouth is completely preserved. You think nothing was ever done to the facades of the old houses. Within 4 miles of here, you won't find any new builds. Your face has unwillingly slipped into an expressionless mask due to the sheer boredom of it all. And then, Muriel points to the coastal line on the map. The amazing beach promenade. A dreamy beach with a bar that serves all the drinks your heart desires. I hope you brought enough stress with you, because at the beach, pure relaxation awaits you. The small woman chortles. Do I thank her or just walk off? Again, we've got to be polite. She may come in useful later. Thank you. Thanks ever so much, Ma'am. Muriel seems delighted. Nothing gives me more pleasure than ensuring visitors have a great time in our pretty little town. Will you be staying for a few nights? I can only recommend staying as long as you can. There's so much to see. Trust me, by the end of your stay, you won't want to leave. Dun dun dun. How long are you going to stay? We're not sure, are we? So 1 week, only overnight, it's a short trip. I'm going to say it's a short trip. Oh, what a shame. Muriel's enthusiasm quickly faded from her eyes and she drops her hands, which are still holding the colourful flyers. I hope you find what you're looking for. Have a great time. Her eyes move past you and settle on a tourist family right behind you. Seemingly at the flick of a switch, she's back to her gleeful demeanour, bouncing over to the family and waving her brochures. You head further into town along the cobbled road in the direction of the coast. Not long ago, the sun was bright in the sky, but already the first wafts of mist are creeping into the streets. The air feels thicker and the sun can no longer penetrate the fog. Time to think about where you want to go. You slow down. You lean your briefcase against a wall and start pacing up and down the quiet alleyway. Excuse me. Drinky too. You've got an important choice to make right now. The city centre is in the north. Even from afar, you can see the outlines of the old and ornately decorated buildings in the main town square. Here you should find the police station, main shopping street, and of course the town hall. As a coastal town, Innsmouth also has a harbour. From your research, you found out that this is a bustling area with a dreamy beach. You expect there to be mostly tourists. According to your research, the only hotel in town, the Gilman Hotel, is located in the old town. You think about checking in. You could do with freshening up and getting rid of that bus smell that is still clinging to your clothes. Just as you are about to set off, your heart leaps into your throat. You've forgotten your briefcase. This has never happened to you. You usually take good care of the little you possess. There's nothing you can do about this now. You'll have to wait until you return journey to find out whether someone has handed it in at the Lost and Found. Still, you could swear that briefcase was already gone when you got off the bus. So, where do we go? We got the city centre, the Gilman Hotel, or the harbour. I mean, it makes sense to check in, and generally speaking, the Innsman, woman, thing, person, knows the goings on of the town. So I suppose going to the hotel is probably the best thing to do first. You recognised its roof from afar, and after a long walk it is now before you in full splendour. The Gilman Hotel. At least it's easy to see that it once must have been a gorgeous building. The hotel resembles an old English country estate, but in its present state. It would be suited as the setting for a very predictable film about teenagers and chainsaw killers. Wild and withered ivy has a firm grip on the walls and obscures the details of the richly decorated facade. A gallery of gargoyles melted into unreal shapes by acid rain and acidic pigeons' droppings lines the roof. The many window panes have been neglected for years. Only in a few places have a small area been wiped clean in order to see outside. There are 2 cars in the parking lot, a vintage car with large rust spots and a large grey van. The kind of van you've always been warned about as a child. So we can inspect the cars, walk around the hotel, or go towards the main entrance. Let's have a mooch, shall we? Let's have a look at the cars first. You look around again to make sure that the people who own the cars aren't hiding somewhere with their shotgun at the ready. The coast is clear. First you walk over to the antique car. Well, you're not a car expert, but the car looks antique to you anyway. Both seats inside are made of white leather, a bit tacky. You turn away from the antique car and look towards the van. No writing on the side, a regular registration plate, the windows in the front blacked out. Hang on, you have a brainwave. Maybe this is the van into which poor Tabitha had been pulled when she was kidnapped, when she was lured to her awful fate by sweets and lollipops. That sounds like utter nonsense. We don't know that. We can't go. I mean, it is plausible. Don't get me wrong, but we can't go just assuming things. We need facts. Damn it. We're PI. It's all about the facts. Utter nonsense. All of a sudden, you realise how absurd this theory sounds. Maybe you'd actually solve this case if you did some real investigating and didn't just hang around parking lots. Stealthily, you look around. After admiring the old car one last time, you walk back to the hotel. You really hope the inside of the hotel has been looked after a little better than the outside, but you're quickly disabused of that notion. The massive wooden door is difficult to open. Shouldn't the staff be doing this anyway? With a loud creaking sound from the hinges and an exhausted puffing and panting on your part, you manage to open the door and enter the lobby of the Gilman Hotel. You wouldn't have guessed some even welcome in this place. The room is sparsely lit. There are impressive chandeliers hanging from the ceiling which, if working, would perhaps not quite give the grand hall back its original splendour, but at least convey more warmth. Your first steps tell you that there are rotten floorboards hiding under the thick carpet. The green wall panelling and wallpaper also appear rotten and musty. Sort of wet. Now, where am I going to check into this mouldy dump or go to the reception? I mean, we've been told it's the only place to sleep. We haven't come here in our car, so we can't go about sleeping in the back of our car. Haven't really got a lot of options, really, have we? So, go to reception it is. Before you let yourself be distracted by the questionable interior design and the associated health issues, you walk purposely towards the reception desk. A small greenish creature stands behind the counter. The loudly humming ceiling lamp above harshly illuminates his silhouette and gives his face hard edges. You can make out every individual speck of dust and dandruff on his dark green velvet collar and crooked shoulders. Maybe they should be dimming the lights after all. The figure smiles at you, or perhaps it's more of a grin. His face unsettles you. You lean forward at an angle to get a better look at him. The corners of his mouth reach all the way up to his dried up ears. His smile looks like it's been painted on. His beady eyes lie deep in the cavity of his skull and seem to stare into opposite directions. Has he even blinked yet? And on top of it all, he smells funny. How may I help? You're startled and take a step back. Welcome to the Gilman Hotel. My name is Cornelius Gilman III. How may I be of service to you? The man's gaze remains unchanged, and his unnatural smile still seems to be etched into his face. You're still surprised that he can talk with that expression on his face. Just a moment ago, you could have sworn he was an inanimate puppet. Just like now when he's not speaking. What's wrong with your face? You have beautiful eyes. I'd like to book a room. I mean, both of those are inappropriate, shall we say. What to come up to someone who is obviously looking a little bit worse for wear, who would appear to be very happy with who he is. Why would you want to go and insult him and say, what is wrong with your face? And in turn, you have beautiful eyes is particularly creepy. I mean, the ick factor is high already. Let's not make that ick factor any higher than it has to be. So I'm going to be pretty plain Jane here and just go with, I would like to book a room, please. I would like to book a room, you begin, and manage not to blurt out, in a different hotel. Perfect! The Gilman Hotel is delighted to be able to welcome you as its guest. May I ask whether you're in Innsmouth for business or pleasure? How long will you be staying with us? Would you prefer a view towards the beach or the skyline of our exciting town? When would you like to be woken up? Do you sleep deeply? Are you travelling alone? Do you have family? Who knows that you're here? Can I interest you in our spa, fitness and wellness activities? Would you like to subscribe to our newsletter? That's a lot of questions. How long can you hold your breath? Funny story, I've been able to breathe underwater since I was a child. Or answer all the questions. Yeah, I don't want to give too much away. I mean, you got to play your cards close to your chest as a PI. So, funny story. I've been able to breathe underwater since I was a child. Seems like the appropriate answer. Are we done now? Can I go to my room? The concierge's expression did not change a tiny bit for the duration of your conversation, let alone did he blink. Thank you very much. That was all I needed to know. Now all you need to do is sign here. He tilts his strangely shaped head over to the guest register. Impatiently you sign. J. Doe. XXX Noobslayer 555 XXX, or your real name. I mean, in case things go tits up, I think it's probably best to sign in my real name. So if anyone comes looking for me, don't know why they would, but if anyone comes looking for me or follows up with this lady and her child, at least they know I was here. So, evidence, your real name. Sadly, we were all booked up this season. There's only one spare room. Here is your key for room 666. Enjoy your stay. You look at the key which has magically appeared on the counter. Then your eyes slowly wander past the man to the wall where countless other keys are hanging. So do I want to continue looking for Tabitha, go to my room, or book wellness sessions? I mean, I've got nothing on me, have I? So we've booked the room. I think we should carry on our search. Thank you so much. At least you've got a bed for the night. You think it's best not to waste any more time and decide to immediately keep looking for the girl. With quick steps, you hurry out of the building, but you can still feel the eyes of the concierge on you. Time to go and look for Tabitha. Your investigation leads you to the harbour or the town centre. I mean, let's go and have a look in the town centre first. We'll make our way to the harbour, and then we're just covering the town as we go through it. I feel. Town Square. Innsmouth Town Square, the beating heart of the city. A big attraction for local tourism, it is animated by groups of visitors who are chatting away in the sun. A lot less animated than the lethargic locals who are lurching about the square. A rather creepy looking fountain is in the middle of the square. A gigantic fish-like stone statue stretches its claws towards the sky with water flowing out of its menacing jaw. The water sprays into the air, providing a refreshing breeze to the tourists sitting around the edge of the fountain. Looking at it closely now, it all rather looks like a giant drooling fish monster. The square is surrounded by handsome old buildings, although the side streets reveal the true Innsmouth, the crumbling facades, just far enough away from the average tourist doesn't notice them immediately. You also notice the mean grimaces of gargoyles sternly looking down onto the visitors from the corners of the buildings. You make a mental note to block out the Innsmouth architecture in the future. At first glance you can see the town hall and a police station behind the fountain. There should be a few more public facilities nearby, but you don't notice anything right away. You decide to go to the fountain, the town hall, the police station, or scope out the surroundings. I mean, we might as well go and scope out this fountain. I presume it's a different fountain to the one we saw before. Pretty relaxed vibe here, so you decide to go over to the tourists. There's a lot of space on the edge of the fountain which people used to sit down. They are stretching their legs, eating their packed lunches, or studying maps of the town. The perfect place to let go and relax. You sit down somewhere quiet or close to the other tourists. I mean, what are the tourists going to know, really? I think it's just best for us to just sit down and observe and see what's going on. So we'll sit somewhere quiet. The trip over here has exposed you to enough weird people and you can do without a carbon-based life form for a while. You sit down on the fountain edge off to the side from the other visitors and let your mind roam. How is it possible that a girl can simply vanish in a tiny place like this? If she's run away from home, where would she have found shelter and where would she get her food from? Has she been kidnapped after all? And isn't it normally cute children that get kidnapped? Something brings you back to the real world. A rather shaggy-looking older man on crutches rattles a paper cup in front of your face. He smiles, revealing his rotten teeth. Yeah, let's keep the locals on our good side. Let's give him some coins. The old man looks so worn down that it breaks your heart. You search for coins in your trouser pocket and find some coins. He smiles gratefully when you drop the money into his cup. The beggar looks around furtively and then leans over to whisper something into your ear. You should leave. Slightly dazed by the smell of alcohol on the man's breath, you lean back and watch him shuffle off. Did you hear that right? You should leave? The nerve of it. You're glad to see the back of his drunkard. You look over to the dark alleyways across the square and you repeatedly notice shady figures with bloated faces who keep looking at you and the tourists. You start to feel uneasy again. Here in the middle of the square, at the fountain, it's like you're sitting ducks. The sun that was so warm in your face suddenly disappears and is replaced by a greyish silhouette. Without noticing beforehand, two men have approached you. They smile nervously and appear to be presenting you with a book. Your insides clench up and your fingers dig into the stone of the fountain. You know this kind of smile. They are lawyers, mole people, religious fanatics. It's got to be religious fanatics the way they're dressed. Hey ho. The kind that get you out of bed on Sunday mornings and force you to put clothes on to answer the door. You've tried to chase them away, curse them, and wish eternal damnation on them so many times, but now they found you here in Innsmouth with the sole purpose of ruining your weekend. They stand in front of you with a strained smile. Bare my teeth or ask them what they want. I mean, to smile back is like the informal acceptance of them to come and talk to you, haven't they? So I think we just ask them outright what they want. What do you want, you hiss? Here's the thing. You usually know when you're being a bit of a brat, and you'd certainly count this interaction, which is why it's a bit disconcerting that the two of them all of a sudden look at one another excitedly. That's when it suddenly hits you. You just ask them to talk. You've given them exactly what they're after. Shit. The blonde one starts to talk while his partner hovers in the background and breathes heavily. He holds up a book. The green cover has a delicate golden arabesque pattern that reminds you of something. Do you have time to speak about Dagon, our Lord and Saviour? He puts on his best salesman smile. So Dagon? I'm looking for this girl, you see. Or Dagon, don't I know this name from the TV? I mean, we're in HP Lovecraft country here. I think it'd be mighty wise of me to find out who Dagon is. The man in the background still presses the book against his stomach and breathes loudly. The guy in front of you chuckles contentedly. Yes, Dagon! The esoteric order of Dagon is the primary religion here in Innsmouth. Our religion, the other man chips in. Who would have thought? Tell me more? Hablan español? Or, in that case, I'm not interested. Yeah, tell me more! Please tell me more, you answer, although you have no idea why you would say such a thing in this situation. But of course! Innsmouth has not always been the successful fishing village you are experiencing right now. The man makes an expansive gesture with his arm from the fountain to the trash cans. Everything changed when at the beginning of the 19th century, Obed Marsh brought a new religion to Innsmouth and founded the esoteric order of Dagon. His partner comes forward. Would you like to find out more? Again, what is Dagon? What's Dagon? You ask, confused. The face of the more talkative blonde guy lights up even more. An excellent question. Dagon primarily symbolises transformation. You could say that he signifies the progression of humans to a higher plane, a kind of evolution. Don't you sometimes want to get rid of your mortal shackles? I mean, what is it that you have up here apart from misery, war and greed? The esoteric order preaches that it is our destiny to leave the surface behind and spend the rest of eternity in the depths. He proudly holds up the green book. And there's no greed or pursuit of money down there? Or sounds amazing, I'd like to join please. Let's not sell ourselves straight away. You know, as much as I'm for cutting the foreplay and getting straight to the penetration, I think this time around we need to, you know, find out what we're signing up for. So, and there's no greed or pursuit of money down there? You're not convinced. You've seen too many TV shows in which people were dropped on a remote island only to backstab one another. And there's no greed or pursuit of money down there. Of course not. The money turns into papier-mâché down there and eventually disintegrates. Good point. do I keep pushing about money? Or do I ask about joining the underwater paradise? Let's keep on with the money. What about coins, though? Coins don't disintegrate. They stay down there forever until deep-sea divers find them and swap them for yachts, champagne and coke. The member of the order slowly drops the hand with his book. The smile, unwavering until now, slowly changes into a frown, indicating what appears to you like doubt. Coins, he says shakily and takes a few steps back. He turns to his partner. The two start whispering. With this financial system, this won't really. But how would that work if you don't have bills? Inverted inflation. You're not sure if you're still needed here. I mean, we've put doubt into their mind. It would only be kind for us to finish this up. So clear your throat. Both heads turn abruptly towards you. You are very bright, the blonde guy says in a new hoarse voice. Finding someone to recognise your potential. Unbelievable. You have to go to a fishing village in the middle of nowhere for that to happen. If you have time, please visit our church. We need blue sky thinkers like you. The man hands you a white card engraved with an address in the harbour. You study the card and you notice the finely textured paper. Not bad. Interesting. The Church of Dagon is the predominant religion in this otherwise godforsaken town, an exotic cult in a remote and secluded community. You're not quite sure what to make of it yet, but for now you consider the two to be harmless. Okay, enough time wasted. Where are you headed now? And you know what? I think that is a question for another time. We are done for today's little story. So thank you for watching. As always, a like is appreciated, and I will catch you on the next one. Take it easy.